for the last day of notes, day 4, this topic is inequalities in two triangles. So for this first one called the hinge theorem, it also is listed as the SAS inequality theorem. It says if two sides of a triangle are congruent to two sides of another triangle and the included angle of the first is larger than the included angle of the second triangle, then the side opposite the angle of the first triangle is larger than the side opposite the angle of the second triangle. So here are your two sides here. And A and D are considered the included triangle. So if we look at the included angles here, A and D, I want to know which one is larger based on this length right here, BC and EF. So what it's saying is that if the measure of angle A is larger or bigger than the measure of angle D, then that means that segment BC has to be greater than segment EF. And of course, I'm going to show you this with numbers and examples down here in example 1. All right, the converse of this hinge theorem is just reversing this. Remember, this is a conditional statement. This is the converse. If I say the then part first, so if BC is greater than EF, then the measure of angle A is greater than the measure of angle D. So if we look at these examples down here, I want to know, is KL greater than or less than segment PM? Okay, so let's get a couple highlighters. Okay, and here's PM, and here's KL. So I look across and I see 74 and 79. Okay, well 79 is greater than 74. So I would say that this is going to be longer than this one here. So this is going to be greater. So in number 2, we're going to compare AD with BC. And so if we look, we have 65 and 59. So I know that 59 is smaller than 65. Okay, and so that means that AD would have to be less than BC. Okay, in example 3, we're comparing WX and XY. Alright, so for this one, we'd have to look at 53, and for this one, we would need to know this angle measurement. So we're going to have to add these up. So 32 and 93. And we subtract that from 180. And that would give us 55. Okay. So we know that 53 is smaller than 55. So WX has to be less than XY. Okay. For number 4, let's go ahead and highlight PQ and PS. Okay, so we're looking at 83 because it's the opposite. And then we don't have this angle measurement, but this right here is a supplementary angle. So if I take 180 minus 83, that gives me 97. And I see that 97 is greater than 83. So PQ has to be larger or longer than PS. Okay, for number 5, we're going to reverse this. Now we're looking at angles, okay? So if we look at our segment, so we're looking at angle D in this segment, and we're looking at angle H in this segment. So for here, we can see that 33 is smaller than 35, but angle D came first. So 35 is greater is greater than 33, so angle D is greater than angle H. Alright, so for angle A, here's angle A, which means we're looking at 16, and angle E, we're looking at 15. So 16, again, is greater than 15, so angle A has to be larger than angle E. Okay, for number 7, we've got RSQ, so that means we're looking at this angle here in this segment. Then we have TQS, we're looking at this angle there in this segment. So 13 was the first one we looked at, this one. So we can see that the 13 is smaller than the 14, so this would be less than. And then lastly, for number 8 here, we have JMK, so we're looking at this angle and this side. And for LMK, we're looking at this angle and this side. And again, we can see that 27 is smaller than 28, so this would be less than. So that means that that angle is smaller than this angle over here.